welcome to Art 244. Good evening, everyone. Okay, so yeah, tonight we are demonstrating this gating process to try to show you guys what this looks like so you can try to envision your pattern and the gates or sprues that connect the pattern to the pouring cup, and then try to envision this then as a part of a pouring process where once this is completely embedded in ceramic shell slurry, and then we put it in a kiln and burn it out so that we have an empty mold. We'll be pouring bronze into the cup-shaped pouring cup. The bronze will flow in here and fill up the cup and flow down through these pipes, because they will be hollow pipes, and into this hollow cavity, which will become your bronze casting. So that's why they call it the lost wax process, because the wax is lost out of this thing when we fire it in a kiln. And the Bronze Age was, started around 3000 BC. So we've been casting bronze and other metals for about 5,000 years or more. So we've got quite a bit of, it's one of the older technologies that we have in human civilization. After the advent of stone tools, clothing, cooking, the rise of agriculture, and the development of cities, we pretty much, started working with metals, and we're casting bronze so that we had bronze tools to be able to build those first ancient cities. And so bronze has been a really important part of the rise of Western civilization and the rise of complex civilization in general all around the world. So it's a technology. It's a 5,000-year-old technology, but it's a pretty important technology for us. And we do metal casting today in much the same way. So if you were to get into industry where there was metal casting, iron, aluminum, bronze or brass, you would have some basic experience after having taken this class to understand the whole casting process. And it's possible to even work in a foundry in the state of Oregon. There are many art casting foundries as well as industrial foundries in the Portland area to do metal casting. Back in the day, 150 years ago, we even had foundries here in Coos Bay as part of the industry that surrounded our port. We had both an iron works that cast iron downtown Coos Bay on the waterfront, as well as people who worked in brass for naval fittings, marine fittings for vessels. So it's been part of our culture right here in Coos Bay too. Okay, so hey, Jordan says he and Hunter were a few minutes late. Welcome to the party. I'll make sure that you are here, represented here. So thanks for coming. Let's see. Okay, Jordan.
James.
Yes.
So I was kind of like doing research because I was trying to make those rings, and like it looks like lost wax is kind of like, well, it's an older method of doing it, but people did do like gold and silver with the lost wax method. Like if I were to like have my rings, or like bring the rings that I've been carving, could I have the mold made and then just not cast them in bronze, and then I could try casting them in gold on my own time?
Yes. Yeah. So what I'll have to do too is to try to make your pouring cup super small, because if you take this to a jeweler and have them cast it, they have to put it in a centrifugal caster, which is something that will spin your mold around on the outside of a swing arm. And what we do is pour the bronze into the middle of this rotating thing, and it flings the gold out to the spinning mold, and it helps to fling it into the mold to get it to completely fill. I don't have a centrifugal caster here,
Right.
So I could make a much smaller pouring cup and gating system for your rings, and then you'd have it. You'd have an investment mold that you could take any place and get a jeweler to cast it for you.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, my
Well,
pleasure.
thank you.
Cool is what I do. I mean, that's what we do here. And in the meantime, I mean, these are relatively small castings, but it's much larger than a piece of jewelry. And I wanted to just repeat for everybody here within earshot that jewelry is not necessarily a great thing to use bronze with, because bronze is 99% copper. Copper will turn your skin green with direct contact with the bronze, especially if the bronze isn't coated in some way. And even if we spray a clear coating on the bronze, it tends to rub off and wear off pretty quickly. So the only real good jewelry that I can recommend is a brooch or something that would be like a pendant worn on a chain that would not be worn next to the skin, but would be worn outside of a garment. A brooch can have a pin back, silver soldered onto the back of it, and then it can be pinned onto a garment. Otherwise, rings and earrings are not necessarily good candidates for the bronze casting process because it's copper rather than a precious metal like gold or silver. We used to call that, or they used to call that, hyperallergenic metals, back in the day, to try to hypoallergenic, something to try to reduce the kinds of reaction to contact with the skin. And that, that's the whole reason for wearing gold and silver jewelry, is because it usually has less of that. Paula, what do you have to,
I was just going to add too that there may not be an issue with metals on skin at this point in life because you guys are young, but allergies develop as you get older. It could happen later on.
I just recently found out I'm allergic to silver.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, silver gets to me sometimes, depends. But yeah, a lot of people have allergies to metal jewelry like nickel and whatever.
Yeah. On a totally unrelated note, we're starting to try to figure out how to get signed up for vaccines. And so I've been directed to, I don't know, start looking at websites to see when somebody like me, whatever I am, I'm a 59-year-old white guy with no underlying conditions, who's a teacher. And so when am I supposed to get a vaccine based on my demographic and my demographic group and occupation or whatever?
Personally, I think that students and teachers should be some of the first groups to get them.
Teachers should be getting their vaccines now.
Yeah.
I just worked for DHS, and Bandon had extra vaccines, so we were able to go and get in to do ours because we were, with my position, I work a lot with the public. And let me tell you, the first day I felt a little awkward. I felt weird. The next day my arm hurt really bad. I have like a golf ball knot in my arm, and today it's there, but it itches, and it's still like a huge bump in your arm. So some people in my family that got it like were super tired, and then other people were like me and my husband, our arms just kind of hurt, but they say the second dose is even worse.
Well, I think it's probably kind of like horses. If you give yourself the shot, you want to do it as far from your heart as you possibly can.
Yeah.
And the second thing is if you make it through 20 minutes without going into anaphylactic shock, you're probably going to be okay, and Tylenol will kick its ass.
Well, they made me sit there. I had to sit there for 15 minutes after they give the shot and make sure I didn't have like swelling of the face or anything, or like a cough that just started developing. Any of that, if I did, then I was supposed to honk my horn, but I was okay. But I didn't start like feeling different until like after my 15 minutes. I was like, I feel a little weird.
Yeah, if something was going to kill you, it usually happens within half an hour.
So But yeah, I have a golf ball knot in my arm, and but I'm kind of curious how it's going to affect my husband. He gets his second one anytime now, so it'll be interesting to see what his effects are with the second one.
Does he have life insurance?
Yes, not much, but enough.
I'm just kidding.
Well, these are interesting times that we're living in, and so I hope that we survive the pandemic. I hope we survive the vaccine, and we may be living with this for a long time, even after the vaccines and after the pandemic, because we may have this coronavirus, permanently circulating with us to some extent, and we may be getting vaccines, maybe a more refined vaccine. As an annual shot or something. Who the hell knows? But stay tuned, because we might be wearing masks for longer than just this year. We might be dealing with these things for a longer time, and it might change our lifestyle a bit. It's not going to be this bad forever. I hope, knock on wood, whatever. But we may not see the end of this for a while, so it is something to think about and kind of make adjustments to. I've been at this for an hour now, even though I only recorded the last 20 minutes or so, and you guys are well on your way to making your sculptures and getting things done. I just want to remind you to please bring in your finished sculptures and all of your stuff, the toolkit, the hot box and all that stuff. Bring it on in here to Eden Hall when you're done and leave it on the table. And I will be taking stuff in occasionally, throughout the week and next week. So whenever you get your stuff done, bring it on in here. No rush, no hurry. But I've been able to start processing Cassifer stuff. And I have to gate up all of our patterns and pieces for the bronze casting process. So I'm going to need these things to come in. And before you turn loose of this, please photograph it and upload it to the site once again, so that in my Laker link, you score 100 points just for getting your piece finished and photographed and uploaded. So I've got something that documents your midterm work for the project. So I'm going to call it a night, I think. I'm happy to answer any other questions. Casper, yes?
No, I was gonna say good night.
Oh, well, thank you. That's very sweet. Thank you very much. Good night,
See you
everybody.
later.
I'll see you guys
Yes.
on Wednesday night. Bye now.
Yes.
I have a question really quick.
Oh,
Sorry.
Good night,
yeah.
Jimothy.
Sure. Yeah.
This is Hunter Van Curler, by the way, on Jordan's computer again. But so I didn't really understand the email all that much this morning. So for the midterm, you want me to submit a picture of the work that I have done so far, not necessarily my finished work?
Yeah, and you don't have to submit it right away. It's just it gives me a place to give you some points for the sculpture whenever it gets completed. It doesn't have to be done by midterms. It's kind of, I can't remember if I put a deadline on it or not, but I think it's still open for the next couple weeks.
It says the 23rd.
The 23rd, yeah, we still got a couple weeks. So, whenever you get something that looks like something, take a picture of it and upload it. And that way I've got a record of it. It also helps me keep you guys straight. I have so many kids and so many projects, and this allows me to attach an image to a name so that I can keep your projects straight during all of this processing and casting and all of this stuff. It just helps.
Okay.
Did that help? Good. Yeah. Okay. All right. I lost half of you guys already. So I'm going to say again, good night, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.